Somebody was trying to call me when the live started. Like, come on, son. Come on, son. So we're gonna get started. We're gonna talk a little bit about time because someone asked it. And we're gonna talk a little bit about my success because someone asked that as well. So if you watch it in a playback, this is for those of you who asked. So I like to just switch it to here so I can sit back and relax and talk to you guys. Okay. Like, why would they do that? Hi. Hi. I'm just trying to bring it up on this screen so I can look at it through here and not be like this. Imagine all live. What did y'all say? I cracked myself up. Okay. And now I have it up. You feel me? Neptune, period. I'm not shaming anybody who got questions, but that's the energy we on. I don't got no more questions. It's time to apply. I just find your lives confident. I love that. Thank you. But you know what's so funny about when I kind of got into, this is leading into the two people who asked the questions. If you just got in, two people already asked their questions because they're not really going to be here. So they're going to watch it in the playback. So I'm going to answer their questions first. And if you guys have questions, it's fine to ask. One person asked about time. I'm going to talk about that. That's my favorite topic. Hi, Lexi. Hi, Chase Fire. Hello. And somebody asked about my personal success stories. And I actually have a few in the past few weeks. I just kind of been so locked in because I don't know if some of you guys know I'm also in school right now. So a lot of my focus has been dedicated to school and making videos for you guys. And if some of you guys don't know, I merged my two memberships. So now there's only one membership. So it just makes it more exclusive, just makes it more fun for me. And so if you haven't re-signed up, for those of you who are separated, which I announced, it's not only one tier for the membership. Okay, so let's talk about, I don't even have questions, I just apply. So we're going to start with the person who asked about my success. I'm going to start off with that and then we go to time. So I also work because I do something according to what I'm doing in school. I have an end goal with that. And I work, ooh, why am I hearing myself? Let me just turn this. I don't like hearing echo. So in that, what happened was I ended up being in a department that I did not enjoy. Now, yes, there's multiple options that happen. So let's go through the success and we're going to use that as a way to teach you guys what really choosing an identity and manifesting is. When I realized I did not like something. So most of the times when you guys are manifesting is either you want to level up, is either that you don't like your current environment, or it's either that you just want to have a certain experience just cuz, right? You don't really have to have a deep reason, but there's something that tells you I don't want this anymore. I want this. So that kind of happened with me. I realized I did not like the environment that I was in anymore in terms of the work. And instead of sitting there and complaining like most people do, a lot of people talk about they hate their job, they hate their environment, and you don't realize that, yes, although you're expressing your feelings, what you're doing when you express the current state of dislike is you're keeping it there. So it's like you kind of are putting yourself in your own hell. So it's like, I hate this place, but you stay in that place. I hate this place, but you stay in that place. And you can apply this very same example to love and money. I hate this relationship, but you want the person. I hate the relationship, but I want this person. Money. Oh, I don't like being broke, but you want more money. I don't like being broke, but you want more money. You kind of get what I'm saying? When you verbally continuously complain and state your dislikes and put your focus on all the ways that it's not working, you are giving yourself your own personal hell. So what I usually advise to people is, yes, acknowledge your feelings. You don't like it. But then after that, you shouldn't talk about it anymore. You should let it fuel you into your next chapter. And that's exactly what I did. After I realized I didn't like it, I went to my sister. I said, I'm not really effing with this. I'm not really effing with this. I said, I know who I am. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to put myself in a new position. And I'm going to make sure it happens. And I'm not even going to act like this exists. Now, for me, the case was that I had to show up to work. daily. So I was constantly in that environment. This is also for those of you who are like, oh, but I see my SP all the time. How the heck am I supposed to stick with the new story when I see them all the time? How the heck am I supposed to talk about I'm rich, but I'm seeing the state of my bills all the time? What you guys don't understand is choosing our identity is an internal shift. And then it's mirrored to you. And when you understand how reality works, you stop complaining about the current state of things, right? So instead of me going, why am I still at this place? My focus was on being the Nicolette that was in the new place. That's all my focus was. Nope, I'm coming in here and I'm the Nicolette that's in the new place. I'm the Nicolette that's in the new place. And a series of events unfolded, and now I'm in a new department. Very easy, very classy, very cool. Right? Now, if you ask me what happened in that space of time, right? And I'm going to let this success lead into talking about time. I have other successes, but I'll sporadically talk about it, right? So when I realized I didn't like it, I said, okay, if I was working in this department, what would I be thinking? Who would I be? I said, well, one, I wouldn't be complaining about where I am now. I wouldn't be complaining about these people. I wouldn't even let these people get playtime in here because I wouldn't be working with them. So I said, okay, well, from this day on, I have to come and act like that internally. Act like that internally. Yes, I still spoke to them while I was there. I have to. Yes, whatever work I had to get done in there, I did it because I had to. You still are continuing your life, but mentally, I'm like, it's already done. I don't need to stress. I'm going to still be the Nicolette that has to get the stuff done. And naturally, I actually took a mini vacation. I love you too. I took a mini vacation. I took a couple of days off and I had a staycation, like with my boyfriend and like friends. So I met up with friends. I rested. I did homework. And every time I thought about, oh, I got to go back to work on, I don't remember what day I went back, but let's say it was a Monday. I got to go back to work on Monday. I didn't think, oh, I got to go back to work on Monday. I said, oh, I got to go back to work on Monday. I got into my new department. I really lived like it happened already. I use, what I like to use is I use my mental time intentionally. Instead of going, oh, I got to go back to the department I don't like. No, I went back to, yep, it always works out for me. And I genuinely just enjoyed my present moment of, I love who I'm being. I love who I've become. All of those self-concept things. And when I went back, the manager called me in to the office and was like, we've been considering you for this department. And actually, further, we actually already reached out to have you transferred. And actually, you should be getting a call later today. By the end of that day, I got the call and I was in the department. I didn't try. I didn't try to convince anyone. I didn't try to persuade anyone. I didn't try to do anything besides be the me that it happened. Your world is naturally going to shift to match what you decided. I didn't contradict myself. And even when I had annoyed days with the current department, like when I went home annoyed, I didn't take that annoyance and go, this means it's not working for me. I didn't make it mean that. I just went home annoyed and was like, well, how do I want to deal with this annoyance? Let me sit down, eat my favorite snack, and watch my favorite show and unwind and just enjoy the night. You get what I'm saying? I didn't assign it the meaning that this has to mean that it's not working. And that's a part of a major part for some of you guys. A lot of you guys let your emotions dictate your decision making. You are the deciding factor, no matter what emotion. That's why you'll hear people be like, oh, I doubted, but I still got it. They doubted and they still got it because they didn't make that doubtful thought mean they're not having it. They just labeled that doubtful thought as, oh, I had a doubt. Whatever. I'll let it pass. I still could get what I want. So same with me. Even when I had annoyed days with the people in that appointment, I didn't come home and was like, oh, this means that it's not working. That means I can never go to. That's literally insane. That's like losing $1 and being like, I can never make $100 now. You see how like crazy that sounds? It's like, no, I was annoyed. And it's a feeling, and I'm just going to eat my favorite snack and watch my favorite show, and it still means that I'm in my new department, and now I'm in my new department. Happy, peaceful, and let me tell you guys something. The current manager that I have now, who I like, and the department that I'm going to be in, she won't be my manager there. One of the self-concept things I have about myself is that I'm an asset, and that I'm valuable, and that I'm intelligent, and that I'm a genius, and that I bring value to wherever I am. I have that self-concept about myself in a lot of areas of life, but especially when it comes to work in school, I have that because I really love what I do in school. And when my manager was telling me goodbye, she repeated that exact same things to me. She's like, I'm taking a loss here. She said, you're an asset. She said, you're valuable. And she said, I'm happy for you in this change, but she said, I know how valuable you are. And she said, you're amazing at what you do here. And this is the point of what I'm saying. It's not about tooting my own horn, but it's about whatever inner dialogue I had in the midst of not even liking that environment is mirrored back to me. So yes, I didn't like the department, but it doesn't mean that I need to say, oh my God, it means that I can't have, or this is who I am. No, who I am is an asset. Who I am is valuable. And nothing outside of me dictates that, no matter where I am, no matter who I'm with. And I don't contradict that. And I stay sturdy on that. So no, everybody outside of me has to mirror that, including my boss. Well, previous boss, right? So one of the things that I want you guys to remember as you're doing identity work, identity is not based on what people tell you. Identity is not based on your emotions. Identity is not based on your environment. It's based on what you decide. Everything else outside of you is the thing that's changing and shifting constantly. You are the constant. You are the stable. You are the stability within the constant changes. And if you can remember that in thinking about reality, you'll understand this. Oh, you're telling me everything is constantly shifting, but I remain the same as long as I decide so. Yes. So what some of you tend to do, not all of you, is that you'll be like, and I use this example all the time, I'm loved, I'm loved. Then your SP doesn't text you, and then you kind of waver on the fact that, am I loved? What does your SP texting you have to do with the concept of I am loved? Some of you guys need to learn to stop letting external factors determine who you're being. I'm loved and I'm valued. Whether I would have got the transfer or not, that would have been my identity till the end of time. You guys are understanding? So I don't contradict myself. When I make a decision on who I'm being and what I'm going to experience, I don't let anything outside of me shift that. That's why my stuff unfolds the way that it does. It's like I don't have to try hard. I don't have to go looking. It just happened. I just literally be myself and decide, hey, this is how it's going to happen. Same thing with love for me. Everybody knows that I'm with my partner. That's my boo thing. That's my forever, right? And he feels the same way about me. But I started to really think about how I want a family. I told you guys how I'm starting to think about, oh, I'm actually kind of ready for marriage. I'm working on that concept of myself, right? But I'm ready for all of that. And he brought it up in conversation, and we made a plan for when it's going to happen, which is in the works, which is, oh, that's not too much info for y'all, but that came naturally too. And then you sometimes see how some partners be like, I think I need to bribe my partner to marry me. I need to figure out how to get them to be on board. I don't do any of that, because here's the thing. I don't need to prove anything to anyone. I don't need to prove anything to my boo. I don't need to prove anything to my friends. I don't need to prove anything to anyone outside of me. The only thing that I need to do is make the decision, and I stand on it. And that's how things shift in your world. I don't go out there looking for it. I don't go out there going, all right, well, let me go hiking and go search and dig and do whatever to find out where the answers are. I am the answer, so I'm going to walk like I'm the answer. And that's how you have to go about it when you guys are making decisions. Oh, you know what, Nikki? I decided that my SP is in love with me. Okay, well, you need to navigate your everyday life now. Like, that's the absolute fact. That's it. And anything outside of you that doesn't align to that, you need to learn how to detach from that concept. Well, oh, I saw that they went to the movies yesterday, but I wasn't invited. What does that have to do with you saying that I'm loved and they love me? Nada. And when some of you guys start to get strict with standing on the claim that you have for yourself, you're going to realize you do naturally become unbothered to anything that's not that. So there's things that people say in my world that is considered annoying. And I let people chat. That's my favorite thing. One of the people that tend to be quote unquote annoying is my mom. So my mom will sometimes say things and I'll just look at her and I'm like, not today. And I'll go about my life like she didn't say it. And it's to the point where now my mom laughs because she knows how I am. She's like, you ain't saying, you not responding to anything I just said. I said, I'm glad we on the same page. She's like, you gonna do what you need to do and do whatever and still do it. And my mom has come to the place where she recognized, she's like, so much is going well for you. I said, yeah. She's like, all right, I'm gonna leave you alone. You kind of get what I'm saying? It's like, it's my word or who else's word? Why am I taking in anybody else's word besides my own? Some of you guys need to learn to trust yourself and your word. We're going to talk about time in a second. Did you express that you wanted to change departments? To my sister. Not to anyone in there. Who else why would I tell them that? I work with them. So maybe to my sister, like, yo, it would be cool if I changed departments. That's it. I didn't beg. I didn't ask. I just was considered. Oh, and I forgot the best part of the story. That role that I got transferred into, technically, somebody already had it. No, not somebody that already worked there. Someone else had the process of doing it, and they chose me over the person. I didn't know about the person. I wasn't trying to take their spot, but they chose me over the person, which emphasizes my story of being chosen. It doesn't matter. That's like somebody being in a race or somebody putting in an application, and I didn't know that they were already in the process of having it. And I just put my application in. I didn't put an application in, but this is an example. Me putting my application in, and they were like, forget all the other applications. We want this one. Yeah. Someone else was technically, before I even made this decision, being considered for it. And the day I made the decision, everything adjusted where they put their eyes on me. That's why I tell you guys, when you guys talk about third party or competition, I'm like, what competition? When I decided that I wanted to change departments, I didn't even consider that somebody else can be gunning for the spot. I didn't even think that there was anybody even considered. I didn't even think that there was competition. I just thought that I was an asset. And however that had to be mirrored in my world, bam, it had to. And so that's why they say focus on you till the focus is you. It's not a cliche self-love saying. It is. You put the focus on you until the focus is you. And funny enough, to bring the story to light about the other person, the only reason why I even found out that there was even somebody else being considered, because when it was announced, because in the way that it works for me in my because I work in a hospital, the way that it works is that when someone is leaving and going somewhere else, or leaving in general, they send out an email of this person is leaving, right? So that you can say goodbye, or so that you know where somebody is now, because I'm changing roles. So when my announcement was made, right, it spread through the entire office. And that's when it was brought to light, like, oh, did you know that so-and-so was being considered at first? And I said, no, I didn't. They was like, wow, they really love you because they chose you and da-da-da. And mind you, I'm not petty where I'm like shooting somebody while they're down. I'm like, wow, I didn't know. I wasn't trying to, but I was like, I just put myself there. But people were like, no, we see why they put you there. We see why. We see why. This is what I'm trying to tell you guys. Some of you guys go, oh, and I'm going to use this specifically for third party. Oh, there's a third party. So maybe their hair is better. Or maybe their text message conversations are better. Or maybe they have more fun when they go on dates together. Whole time, you could have been sitting there saying, actually, nah, they have more fun with me. And I'm going to give you guys a personal example of this. So there was a partner that I was dating, and at the time I didn't have a strong self-concept in love, or strong concept of self in love. So I had this kind of belief in love where guys liked me and really liked me, but they wouldn't commit. So I had that with this specific person, and I let a friend get in my head with not only was she reflecting my shaky self-concept, but she also had her own, right? And she was like, you're not his type. He likes artsy fashionista girls. And also I like art, but I like go to museum stuff. I'm not an artiste. I don't have that kind of skill. Well, I could if I wanted to, but you guys know what I'm saying. She kind of instilled in my head, this girl is more artsy. This girl is more his steez, right? And I fell for it. I listened to her, and what happened was he started to talk to that girl, the person that I was talking to at the time. He chose her over me, which I also had a concept of not being chosen at that time as well, for commitment, right? So when at that time, that hurt my feelings. And I remember saying to myself, I didn't work on my self-concept at the time till like after, but the story I worked on at that time, because I was angry, was that they're never going to have as much fun as he had with me. It doesn't matter that I'm not artsy. It doesn't matter that I'm not into high fashion and all that other high-end fashion stuff. He had the most fun with me, and because he feel like he can learn so much from me and have fun conversations. And the story ended up unfolding where he came around and stopped talking to the girl, and he said, I had so much fun being with you. He said, he did try to pursue me again. He said, you were definitely the kind of relationship that I felt I can be myself, and I didn't have to be uppity and have to be talking about just art and just fashion. And I just kind of smiled at that, because I think to myself, a lot of times we fall for these external appearances because that's how we were trained. And I'm like, if only we remember that it's whatever we perceive, it's whatever we decide is what we'll experience. And so this is specifically to those of you who have that little fearful thought of the 3Ps. It's like, you're so special, the qualities that you have for yourself. You don't have to be anybody else but you. And if you can really stand on that and understand, no, they never had a taste like this. They never had anyone like this. It can be down to the littlest quality about you that makes them feel that way. It doesn't necessarily have to be that it's your hair. It can be the way that you wear your hat. It can be the way that you wear your shoes. It can be the way that you smile when you see dog commercials. It can be the way that you study and do your homework. But it be that one trait about you that will make them feel that way because you decided that you were special. And if some of you guys can accept that, right, you're going to realize, wait, why am I stressing about somebody else being better than me when this special quality is about me? And that's how I go about relationships. I know that there's no one better than me for my man. I know this point blank period. And he reflects that constantly. Even now, when he goes to parties, he'll be texting me in the party like, I'm gonna leave right now so I can come home and we can watch a show and we can cuddle. I'm like, sir, go to the party, have fun. I don't care. He's like, no. I want to come home. I want to come home and we can hang out. And I'm like, sir, you just left. Stay at the party. It's okay. Because there's nothing in those settings. There's nothing outside of me that I think that can take this person's attention away from how special I am. I don't have to dress up. I can be in my bonnet. I cannot be in my bonnet. I can be wearing makeup. I cannot be wearing makeup. But who I am being, who I decided is special to this person. And they reflect that. And if some of you guys can stand on that and not contradict it, you'll see that. You'll see that. So there's that. Who I thought was a friend just told me my SP was flirting with them and they might want them. Man. I'm sorry. I'm not even laughing at you. I'm not. I swear on everything. I'm not. But at the same time is like, Alicia, email me. My email is my first last name. I think it's connected to here. But anyways, I'll put it in the comments and pin it. But nonetheless, Anthony, what the hell does that got to do with you? Your friend came and told you. Your friend, right, to put it in quotes. Your friend came and told you that your SP was flirting with them and might want them. Like, really think about how that sounds for a second. Sometimes I want some of you guys to really think about how some things sound. And like, and I'm going to give you valid manifestation advice, but it's like, and what do you want? Your friend came and told you something, but what do you want? Do you want this person? So what that got to do, this is how I started to operate. And this is how I operate with my career. This is how I operate with YouTube. This is how I operate with myself, friends, love. If it's not what I want to experience, I don't give a fuck. I'm so serious. And that's how y'all have to get. So if I decided I'm going to be a successful so and so and so in the hospital, anything else that's not aligned to that, I don't care. Someone could have came to me and been like, Nicolette, I heard somebody talking about you in the lunchroom. I don't care. I don't care. Because then what? Hear me out, right, Anthony? Just to give you a reasoning to go through it logically before we get into how to handle the situation. Then what? You sit there and what? You go talk to the person and be like, why would you do that? That's a waste of mental space. If it's not what I want, I don't care. And yes, pep talk. If it's not what you want, I don't care. So if I'm saying someone loves me, loves being with me, if I'm saying, I'm going to look at that in a second. If I'm saying someone likes me and wants to be with me, the only thing I'm considering, sorry guys, my dog just pushed open the door. Hold on. I just don't want him to, he's going to like move around and make too much noise. So I forgot what I was saying because of Milo. If I'm saying someone likes me and someone comes to me and be like, I saw them flirting with so-and-so. Okay. Flirting with them is only going to make them realize how much more they love talking to me. And that's not delusion. That is self-concept. It's genuinely, there's two things you're doing. There's multiple things you're doing when you do that. One, when you decide that doesn't matter, you neutralize what you will consider a problem. It's now no longer a problem. Then two, when you do that, you also detach from worrying. So you detach from contradicting your original story. Then when you decide that, you're sticking with your story. So, oh, this person likes me. This person likes me. This person likes me. This person likes me. I'm amazing. I'm amazing. Like, let's say you're going through your day. Then somebody comes, I don't know. I saw them flirting. Actually, thank you for that information. Have a good day. And you go, this person likes me so much. And I know if they were flirting with somebody else, it's making them realize all the more how much they like me. You're detaching from worrying. You're detaching from making it a problem. Because if you were to stay there and be like, are they flirting? Do they not like me anymore? You're now dwelling in the story that you don't want to begin with. Some of you guys need to learn how to focus. Focus. What does your friend and that have to do with your end goal? That's like knowing the end of a movie and pausing the screen on the conflict in the movie and sitting there at the screen and being like, let's make this part of the movie last the longest. You kind of get me? It's like you're watching a movie. You know the movie ends with them being together. And then the part where they have the fight, you pause the screen and you go, stay there. Let's talk about it. Let's go through it over and over and over again. And matter of fact, in my mind, as I replay it, let's rewind, play the conflict again. Let's rewind, play the conflict again. That's what you're doing when you guys contradict yourself and worry and brew on that. And do the inner arguments and inner conversations about how it's not working for you. You literally are pausing the movie on the conflict and letting it stay there. If it's not what you want to experience, let the movie play. So let it pass. Literally, the person came, pass, moving on. I'm still here. I'm still amazing. I'm still loved. And I know this person is still thinking about me. That's the story. That don't got nothing to do with you. It doesn't stop the flow. It doesn't stop what you have, what's going to happen for you. Unless you choose to accept it as your truth, then that's your truth. Yes, time is one of the only things that still stresses me out, but I'm promising myself the rest of the year I'm gonna be locked in. So I want to talk about thank you for the segue of time. So time is such an interesting concept because time, one, sometimes scares people because the concept of it, or time, people don't understand it. And I think sometimes some of the fear comes from not understanding time. So I always give this in every video. I always say the same thing. We were trained to view time in a certain way, by calendar, by clock, right? By months. And that's fine because it helps us to have kind of like an internal construct of how seasons passed, of people's birthdays, of what time you get to leave work or what time you get to leave school or what time you leave an appointment. The actual physical time of that is like a construct to help you navigate through your physical world. We get that. So you don't need to hate time. You don't need to be angry at time. It's just to understand time will help you understand also reality. However, when you are manifesting, you have to understand that the only time that is a part of manifestation is the right now. So let me slow that down for you guys. Yes, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday is a thing. The months of the year is a thing, right? All of those things that we experience, clock time, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock is a thing. However, when you are manifesting, you have to kind of detach from that from a moment and realize all that exists is right now. So if I decided that let me just give an example. Let's say I decided that I'm Superwoman and I put on my super suit right now. It doesn't matter what I did yesterday or the minute before or what I'm going to do in the future. All that matters is that I have on the super suit right now and I'm Superwoman right now. I made the decision because consciousness only goes by what you decide right now. That's why I say to you guys, when you make a decision, don't contradict it. This is also why people are like, they affirm, so that their mind sticks with what they decided. You don't have to do that. That's just for people who they feel like they can't keep track and they can't just say it one time. So if you know that all that exists is right now, and there's a desire that you have or there's an identity you want to be, you need to choose your I am. So let's say the identity is a successful business person. I am successful. You're claiming an identity. You're claiming your I am. I am, I am, I am. Y'all fill in the blanks. You're choosing that right now. So as you're navigating your day, everything else now is according to that identity. You're going to wash the dishes as the I am successful. Because remember, you decided that you are successful. You're not washing the dishes as, damn, I wonder how my business is going to blow up. No, you're washing the dishes as I am successful. You're going to go and brush your hair, wash your hair as I am successful. You're going to go walk your dog as I am successful. If you are repeating it, fine. But it doesn't necessarily mean you have to repeat it. It just means you have to consciously remember this is who you're being. So what some of you tend to do is when you realize that you made a decision right now, I am successful, you leave your now and you go into, but I remember a time that I wasn't successful. You go into the past and you bring the past into your now moment. So you're like, oh, I remember a time I wasn't successful and the business did this. And so you contradict you just saying that I am successful. So your world mirrors that. So your world mirrors the same thing that happened in the past and they bring it forward again. And then when you try to do a new thing, I am successful. But I remember it brings it into your moment now. Or what some of you do is I'm successful. Let me go look for it. So you contradict again because you're saying I am successful and then you go look for it saying I don't have, because looking for it is saying you don't have it. And so your world is like, do you have it? Do you not? Are you it? Are you not? That's why you'll hear some creators be like, it's either you're it or you're not. But that is the truth, because it's like, it's either you decided it or you decided you don't. So that's why when I make a decision, I sit on it for a little bit. I brew on it for a little bit. And then I was like, all right, well, Nikki, once you make the decision, don't contradict yourself because this is what you decided. Yes, you can change it at any moment, but just remember, this is how reality works. You are the cause. That outside world is the effect. Make the decision. Don't speak against it. So then I'll go into my world and I'll be like, okay, I'm successful. Now, anything after that moment is I'm successful. Even if I trip down the steps, this is part of the unfolding. I am successful. I am successful. I label everything as I am successful after that. And that is usually why I have success. Because I realize with time, all that matters is what I'm deciding. So some of you are like, well, when is this going to unfold? And I'm like, damn, they're missing the point. Your focus should be on being the person now rather than when is this going to unfold. Alicia, you have to, I'm saying this not to be slick at the mouth. I'm saying this genuinely. You have to calm down. Emotions pass. The only thing that is constant and stable is your decision. I'm going to get to your question in a second, but you are bringing the panic into you thinking this circumstance has more power than you. And I can tell by the way you're writing. You have to take a deep breath because nothing moves until you make it move. So if you say that it's not working and it's all going to hell right now, that's what's going to happen. And if you say right now that it's actually nothing can do nothing until I decide, then that's what it is right now. I'm going to answer your question in a second. Okay? Right. So with time, you have to remember that only what you decide right now is what matters. You could have been broke yesterday, but if you say right now I'm rich, remember everything you do after that is I am rich. I wake up, I brush my hair, I'm rich. I wake up and I fold my laundry, I am rich. Okay? So time is, you're living through the physical time that was constructed for you, which I'm not telling you to say, time is a lie. You don't have to go through life like that. It's like you understand, oh, I understand. It's made that way for the physical world to move through it. But when I'm manifesting, I have to remember that all that decides is right now. And that's it. It's very simple. And if you guys can really internalize that, you're going to realize, oh, okay, just keep deciding. Yeah, that's it. I'm in a situation where me and my SP had a huge fight 3 months ago. Alicia. Which me and my kids had to move out. And as of today, I'm homeless. And I've been trying to revise all of this happening. So, Alicia, I'm going to break this down for you in the kindest way possible. But this is what I mean. When I say that some of you guys let your emotions dictate to you what's happening. And if you're not careful, those emotions are going to make you spiral out of control. Out of control. Do you know what the first step of manifesting is? The first step of manifesting is getting clear on what you want. Do you know how you get clear on what you want? You take a stock, you take a look at your life, you're aware of what's going on in your life currently, and look at the areas of where you want to adjust or where you want to shift, and you get clear on what you want to experience. And I just gave this example when I talked about the job experience. It goes the same thing for if you were living somewhere you do not like. You realize you do not like the environment. So continuously talking about how you don't like the environment is only going to keep the screen on pause or repeating the dislike. I got clear on what I do not want and said, all right, I can no longer talk about this. Focus on what I want. You don't want this situation, but constantly bringing it up, panicking over it is having your screen on pause. You need to get clear on what experience you want out of this. Yes, we know there was a huge fight. Yes, we know that you had to move out. Yes, we know that you're homeless, which here's the thing. All of those things are something I understand why you do not like it. Nobody's telling you that you cannot feel some type of way about not liking it. But what has not liking it and staying in it taught you? That it'll stay. So the other end of that is, okay, let me put my mindset somewhere else. I'll give an example. There's this young girl that's on YouTube. Maybe some of you guys have seen her. She's not a manifester, but she's religious. But her mindset is why she got out of it. Her and her family, she's like a young teen, were homeless, living in hotels. But she made a YouTube out of it, right? And I'm pointing this out for a reason. Because yes, you can look at being homeless as, oh my God, I have no home. Woe is me. My life is coming to an end. However, this young lady did not do that. Her mindset was, yeah, I'm homeless, but I can make the most of it. She showed how she did her morning routine. She showed how she did her Bible studies. She showed how she spent time with her family. She showed what she would do on a day-to-day basis, making the most of the situation. all in all, the concept of all of her videos was, I know that this is going to work out for me. I know that this is going to work out for me. And it was such a pleasure to see one of her latest videos where her and her family finally got a home. Now, there's nothing different between that young lady and you. The only thing that would need to be adjusted is how you're viewing the situation. I hope you're not sitting there thinking, replaying the fight over and over and over again. I hope you're not thinking about how, woe is me, I have no home, me and my kids. I hope you're not thinking about how this never works out for me and this is going to take forever and I can't believe I'm in this situation. You've already done that. And especially since you said this happened 3 months ago, you've already done that. You already did it. Yes, you're going to have feelings. Yes, you're going to be emotional. Yes, you're going to think, oh my gosh, I need to make this happen quickly. However, the way that you make it happen quickly is you get clear. What do you want out of the situation? So it seems as if the number one priority is to have a roof over your head. So that should be at the top of your list. I'm assuming, I don't know. But if I was in the predicament, my assumption would be you want a home because you used to be in a home. The first priority is, the top of the list is you want a home. So you need to think like somebody who has a home. You previously had a home, so you know how to think like somebody who has a home, right? Roof over your head. Actually, the top priority would be kids are okay, but that can be lined up. 2 would be you and the kids are good. Food, whatever, right? That's the number one priority. However, if you want the bae back, you can add them to the list, right? Happy, healthy relationship, right? Okay? Now, before we get to the SP, let's think about you and the kids first and a home. No shade to the bae, right? Today, you need to sit yourself down and take a deep breath. And the way you were messaging in here, I know that you haven't been taking a deep breath. I can tell the way you hit me up back to back to back. It's an emergency. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Okay, ask yourself, Alicia, what do I want out of the situation? Yes, I got into the fight with the bae. Yes, I don't have a home. We've thought through this already. We need to think anew. What do I want out of the situation? I want a home, and I want me and my kids to be good. And I want that moving forward, nobody has the power to take my home from me again. So that means I want to be financially stable enough so that I can handle this. And it was actually, if you watch my previous live, I think there was somebody else. If it was not this live, it's maybe the one before, so watch the last 2 lives. One of my subscribers actually manifested a new home. She was out of a place to live with her kids and she was on a time crunch and she manifested the home. So whatever I'm saying to you is not something foreign. I'm just trying to help you through your emotional state. I always say when you're shifting mental states, emotions is what makes it feel like you're fighting an uphill battle, because it really is easy. It's really simply thinking different, but emotions make you feel like you like pow, 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 pow. So I understand, right? Now, back to what I was saying. Now you're sitting, mind you, you're at the round table with the versions of you. I like to think of it like a round table with all of the versions of you, and you're the head, and you're like, all right. So the goal is new home, money I have more than enough, and my kids are fed and good. How would I have to view myself? What would have to be my concept of self, and what would have to be my self-concept in order to be there internally? Because it has to be mirrored. Mind you, I didn't tell you to do anything outside of you yet. We're going to get there. Who would I have to be inside? How would I have to talk to myself inside to make this shift externally? And most likely the answer would be, well, you need to see that this can work out for you. You need to see that you're always in the right place and the right time. Opportunities find their way to you. You need to see that me and my kids are protected, safe, and whatever I need, I'm taken care of. And I have a safe place to stay. I have the perfect living space in the perfect neighborhood for me and my kids. Okay? And now, this concept of self is clearly a contrast to the current environment. We know this. But it's not your job to sit there and be like, the home, Your only job, once you get clear on the identity, is to be that Alicia. That's how you're going to show up for yourself and your kids. I got to be this Alicia. I got to wake up and know that this is working out for me. Even if all you did for the day was brush your hair, I know this all works out for me. I'm always in the right place at the right time. Even if all you did was go from the shelter to the grocery store for one apple, I know this is going to work out for me. Because how do you know, Alicia, that version of you that says everything works out for me won't bump into somebody on the road that's doing one of them freaking internet videos and gives you cash? How do you know you're not going to see somebody from your childhood that knew you in 5th grade, where you helped them when they were bullied, and you talk to them and they know your situation? They're like, wait, I actually have a property on here and I can give you for low rent. How do you know? You won't know until you get into the knowing of this identity. So spending all the time and replaying the argument and replaying how this is not working for you and how this is an emergency and how you're in a dire situation won't get you where you need to get. You need to get into the mindset for you and your kids. Hey, this is actually working out for me, and I'm going to make sure that it does. Now, the most important part that I know most of y'all care about is, okay, but Nicolette, what about the physical? Your physical world cannot shift until you do. So my favorite example is using that Spider-Man picture where all of them were standing like this, pointing at each other, and they were all waiting for each other to change, where technically the mirror cannot change until you do. So imagine like this. You're staring at all the versions of you, which is your outside world. Your outside world is going to stay the same if you stay the same within. If you change the story within, your outside world is going to do that. Right. So, Alicia, you see how you know what you want? That's the only conversation that you should be having inside. The only conversation that you should be having inside is, this person wants me back home. They want us to be a big, happy family. And the thing is, I know that what I'm saying is not foreign because all of you guys have inner conversations. Whether you realize it or not. Hi, DeCaries. Whether you realize it or not, all of you guys are having inner conversations. So, Alicia, I would advise your first step needs to be your inner conversations need to match your desire. Basically what I've been saying this whole time. Nothing is going to shift until you do. And you got to make that promise to yourself. I'm not saying that you may have necessarily thought, I'm homeless, therefore I'm homeless. But whatever line of thinking you had leading into the argument, leading into you and the kids being homeless, there's a pattern of thinking that you had, and you have to be accountable for it. You may not have said the exact thing, like, we got into a huge fight and I am homeless. You may not have said those exact things, but there was a line of thinking that led to a series of events where you're in a predicament right now. So if I was someone that wanted to go from homeless to having a home, the first thing I would be thinking is, I love my new home. I love how it all worked out for me. I love that I'm a big, happy family. I love how I'm always in the right place in the right time. Even if emotions come up, I would make sure that my inner conversations match that. And I'm very consistent with what I tell you guys. From some of my earliest videos, I've been telling you guys this from the jump. What I want to experience outside of me, I make sure is happening inside. If I want a bae that's romantic, I make sure to say inside of me that that person is romantic. And anytime I think about them, they're romantic or they're doing a romantic gesture. If I want money, I always match whatever it is that I want outside of me with what's going on inside of me. I just make sure the two match. It's really that simple. So you cannot be homeless by tomorrow, by the end of the day. You just got to decide. I'm back with my family under one roof and we're living peacefully. Boom. The person texts you like, you should come back home. Let's talk about it and let's take it a day at a time. Or you should come back home. I don't want us to be separated ever again. It can unfold in a plethora of ways. You just need to decide that it's going to unfold for you. And stop letting you, and if anything I can give you advice on, Alicia, stop letting your emotions dictate to you. You were just in such a panic, and I felt it. through the way you wrote me. It's almost like you felt an emotion and you thought, because I had this emotion, it means this is how it has to go. No. I just said when I first started the live, I was annoyed with working in that department some days. It never shifted that I was going to be successful and move to somewhere else. I'll still drop my email for you so you can talk further with me. I said so much bad words to SP and now feeling not good how to tackle this. I'm going to tell y'all a story. And it ties right into this. I remember acting. I used to be a crazy girl, for those of you who don't know, in relationships. Like, this is me being transparent. Like, break things. This is my early days, though, like my younger 20s. Break things, curse them out, or be petty, or not on an extreme level where police had to get involved, but like little things that I felt like was going to get my point across. And I remember during that time period, I used to be like, and he gonna love me anyway. Even though I had other concepts of love that needed to be worked on, I just be like, and he gonna love me anyway. And he loved me anyway. What am I saying? That's the same thing as like when people are like, evil people are rich. That's because they know they have those ways about them, but feel like money still loves them. And so they still make money. You said some things to your SP. I'm not saying that you should continue to say those things to that person. But if you know that's not your character, don't do it. However, if you want it to mean nothing, just say it means nothing. I said some crazy things to SP, but you know what? They still going to love me, and we're going to talk it out, and we're going to be fine. Don't sit there and regret your actions. Literally just be like, it means nothing. But my whole point in giving that example is you can do... I'm going to say this, and please take this information and apply it wisely. You can do what you want and get away with it, or not get away with it. So you ever seen women or men who are literally lunatics and they're married and happy and have kids and the person still loves them down? That's because they have a concept that they can do what they want and still be loved. Use this information wisely. I'm not promoting that kind of behavior, but I'm pointing out how it's not about being a good person, however you define good. It's about deciding who you are and saying this is how it's going to go without judgment. I don't judge what people want in their life. So I'm trying to tell you guys, use what I'm giving you wisely. So there are women who are more on the aggressive. I'm using women because that's the examples that I have in my head. It doesn't just have to be women, but who are aggressive in nature, and that partner loves them down. I personally do not want to be aggressive in nature. I want to be calm. I want to be peaceful, and I want to be loved this way. But what are the differences what are the qualities in both of us that we're both being loved, while me being peaceful, while they're being aggressive? That person thinks that no matter who they are, they're loved, and I think no matter who I am, I'm loved. So it's never about being, I'm a good girl or I'm a good guy. It's about being, this person gonna love me anyway. It's about deciding this person loves me. I can get into a disagreement and they still gonna love me. My parents have been married for over, I think they're on their 34th year being married. My mom is blasted annoying. Okay? She's annoying to him. Like, meaning like she annoys him. But he loves her. He drives her everywhere. He'll drop her anywhere she wants to go. She doesn't drive either. She has a license but doesn't drive. He'll chauffeur her anywhere. She can say she want to go across country and he'll drive her. Do anything for her. You want to know why? Because my mom has a concept of self is because he doesn't want anybody but me. He loves me. He loves this home. And my father does. Hence 34 years of marriage. So it's not about being a particular way, but it's about knowing that, hey, I'm loved anyway. Once again, if you don't want to go about cursing this person out or saying some nasty things, don't do that so that you don't sit here worrying. However, if that's truly who you are and that's who you want to be, know that you're loved anyway. Okay, guys? Once again, please take that information and use it wisely. I'm not promoting you guys to go be abusive and go cuss people out and be certain ways. I do think that being an upstanding person with great character integrity is attractive. However, if you are someone who has behaviors, it doesn't mean that you cannot be. It's the same thing as saying somebody with a disability, right? People with disabilities fall in love, but society tells you, oh, if you have a disability, you're like weird, or you know, you're different from everyone else. But there's people with disabilities who fall in love. Why? Because they say no matter what and who I am and how I appear, I'm loved. So the same thing about traits and qualities and hair colors and styles. It's like I'm loved no matter what. Use that information wisely. Calling Milo nephew dog is so funny. But yes, Milo. I'm working on getting a new dog, guys, by the way. I'm looking into getting a Cocker Spaniel because my boyfriend doesn't want a big dog, and I don't want to. There's so many things I know I have the power to shift, but this is one of the things that I'm willing to compromise on. He doesn't want a dog that gets big, and I have a big dog. So we decided to get another dog, and it's going to be a dog that stays kind of schmedium. So I'm going to get it. If you guys know anybody with a Cocker Spaniel, you know. The internal mic is always listening, y'all. Literally. Quite literally. Like, that's why I always snicker to myself. Because when people do things outside of me, I'm like, how do I want to respond inside? I may not say something verbally, but I'm like, this is always on. It's not tiring either, because for the most part, Milo's not going anywhere. I'm just saying for my second dog. He doesn't want two big dogs. He wants a smaller dog. And it's according to the plan of us having a family, y'all. So it's okay. But the internal mic is always on. And I think I saw somebody ask, how do you have internal dialogue? That question is so interesting because, I want you to, instead of me answering that question, what I want you to do is go about your day and do your everyday activities. Don't try to do any techniques. Don't try to watch any videos. Just go about your day and do the natural things you would have done in that day. And be aware of yourself. And what you're going to realize is you actually are always kind of saying something. So, for example, I may not say affirmations or do whatever, but you're always having thoughts. They're always floating by. So I can be like, I'm going to read. Like right now, I'm focused on you guys. But after this, I'm going to be like, what do I need to eat? Oh, I want crab legs? Oh, I don't really like crab legs. That's an inner conversation. That's an inner conversation. I'm navigating what I'm going to eat, but it's an inner conversation. You guys have that with everything. You have that with every topic. Like as I'm getting ready for work, I'm going to go to work. Oh, what do I want to do first? What do I want to wear? Do I want to wear pink? Pink doesn't really look good on my skin today. I think I'm going to do black. And then when I sit at my desk, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get a donut. Oh, no, I don't want a donut because I kind of look fat today. Now, I wouldn't have said that, but that's how some of you guys don't realize you speak about yourself. I make sure my inner conversations align to what I want to experience. So instead of saying fat, I would have been like, yeah, I'm going to get a donut. Yeah, I'm going to eat that donut and I'm going to still look good no matter what. Because I look good in pink and I look good in black. I can wear whatever I want and be cute. You know what I'm going to eat? I actually am going to eat the crab legs. And I'm going to look so cute eating the crab legs, even though eating crab legs is so sloppy. You don't even realize the conversations don't have to be, I am loved, I am wanted. It's literally just you go about your day and you having them anyway. So you might as well make them align to what you want to experience. So I'm going to use Alicia's example of the home and the partner just for this. It's like, you're going to go about your day, think about the situation anyway, because it's your current reality. So you might as well think accordingly. Yeah, I know we had that argument 3 months ago, but you know what? It doesn't even matter now. I know that this person misses me and they want us to be a big happy family. Oh my God, if we had a big happy family and we was living under the roof, I would have made cornbread today and then everybody would have sat on the porch and we would have had cornbread. I'm just giving an example, guys. Might as well make the inner conversations align to what you want to experience. That's all I'm saying. You might as well. Instead of standing there and being like, oh, I know the person hates me. I know the person don't want to talk to me today. I know the person just probably is thinking about how much my hair looks frizzy and that they remember my hair frizzy in the day that I kicked them in the bed when I fell asleep and I snored. You might as well go. Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you speak against yourself? Alicia, you are, like I said, there's a lot of moving pieces here and I'll give you the email, but I think if you can just remember, you need to be the rock. You need to be the constant. Because if you're like, oh my God, you guys remember the episode of SpongeBob? Fire, fire, fire. Or some of you guys, you remember the episode of The Office? Fire, fire, fire. And everybody is running amok. What do you think if you're running like that internally? What do you think your outside world is going to be? You need to get like, actually, I have this all under control. You need to like tap into that inner being. Yeah. Alicia, you got this in the bag. You and your kids are safe, happy, and healthy, and you're going back home, period. Thank you, Neptune, for that, which reminds me of this example. And actually, I talked about the little girl who was homeless, and she was just a teen. If you want to even think from an adult perspective, I actually just saw a video. I guess because I watched her videos, now the other ones pop up on my feed, which is another video I'm going to do one day about how your thinking is a timeline feed. Another lady, she said she was homeless with her son. And she just kept thinking it's going to work out for her. And somebody gave her a free home on a plot of land. So it's like, yes, you're thinking of the ways that it's like trash, but why wouldn't you spend the time and think about the ways that it can actually work out for you? Because all of the ways that it can work out for you is a reality, just like the ways it can't work out for you. They're all a reality, all right now. So why not spend the time and think that it can work out for you? And that's actually another point that I like to bring to people. It's like, no, I hear you. I hear you. You're telling me SP did this and SP did that. I get it. That's a reality and it's a potential. But wait, why are we dwelling on this potential when also SP loving you is also a potential? And that's why I say to people, sometimes it's not necessarily the shift in mindset, but it's the emotions that get people tripped up. And that's why I constantly remind you guys that emotions pass. And I'll give an example of that. One day I was annoyed with my boyfriend, so freaking annoyed. And I was actually on my way to go to the grocery store to get something to cook for dinner. And I was just annoyed. I just remember this because it's like the crawling over me. And I had the itching to like, I wanted to cuss. And I said, wait, actually emotions pass. I don't hate him. Our relationship is not trash. I'm just annoyed. And this annoyed feeling is going to pass. And I tell you guys all the time, I tend to watch comedians and stand-up comedians because I love to laugh. And I just put on a comedian and I started cackling because the comedian was actually funny. And I'm in the car laughing. By the time I got to the grocery store, I didn't even remember that I was annoyed. The feeling passed. So those moments of sadness, those moments of anger, those moments of frustration, I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm letting you know, stop holding on to it. It's gonna pass. The only thing that is constant is the mindset. So yes, you have the feeling, but let it pass. Stop letting it dictate to you what's gonna happen. I didn't let that annoyance dictate to me saying, oh, this means that I'm gonna get into a big fight. This means that this is what's gonna happen between me and Bae. This means that, no, I just said, I know I'm annoyed. I'm human. Do I want to use something to let it pass or do I want to let it pass naturally? And I said, you know what, actually, let me watch some comedy. And it passed even quicker. I'm going to manifest a home across the country for free and my partner to live in. So possible. Literally. Happened to my friend, but she didn't go cross country. She went from state to state. Someone gave her an apartment to live in with her and her boo. I've seen so many everyday things happen that I already know that all things are possible, but I see it actually in my everyday life because I believe it to be true. I accept it to be true that some of these things I'm like, you guys don't have to stress it, you just got to stand on your word to yourself. A lot of the times when I'm dealing with clients and like stuff like that, I find that it's just about standing on your word. And it's like, who else is going to stand on it but you? And that's how I got out of my own way. It's like, yeah, I'm going to have emotions. Yeah, whatever. I see this person. It happened for this person. But I got to stand on my word for me. And that's what it means to be locked in. That's what it means to go all in. You got to stand on your word to you. Because then what? If you don't, then who's going to do it for you? Tell me. Your mama? Your mama know exactly what you want? Your best friend? Yeah, my best friend may know exactly what I want. But do I want her to do it for me? Nah. I check myself immediately when it doesn't align with what I want and stick to the story. Learn that from you, Nikki. Great job, Lex. And you know what's so funny? Thank you for bringing this up, Lex. And I love that for you. That's really how simple it is. When Neville talked about living in the knowing and frequently living in the knowing, it's like we know that the concept of whatever you desire may not have been normalized to you, especially if you were someone who was raised poor and you're jumping into a mindset of being rich. So I'm going to give an example of my boyfriend. My boyfriend was raised in poverty and now is someone who has a lot of money, right? And one of the things that when he teaches me about money all the time is that he said when he went from living in poverty, and when I'm talking about poverty, I'm talking about like 1 bedroom, all the siblings in 1 bedroom, everybody 1 bedroom apartment, like that kind of packed up poverty, food, no travel experience, blah blah blah, which is also kind of different from how I was raised because I wasn't raised in poverty, right? And I don't judge how people are raised, but I'm showing you how you can shift realities. He said one of the number one things he said when he was like, he left out of there. He said, I never want to experience that again. So I'm going to make sure that I don't normalize that to myself. So I always asked him, what do you mean? He said, I always saw myself saw myself as someone who's fly because he likes nice clothes. And I see myself as someone who gets money. And he said, always and every time, opportunities always come my way. And it's always been like that since I've known him because we were friends first. He can leave a job and get a new one. Or he'll get a new car and have that. And my whole point in saying that, guys, is that just because you had it one way doesn't mean it has to stay that way. As long as you stick with what you're deciding you want to experience, your world has to mirror that. So yeah, you had the thought that this of your old self. Okay, let it pass. This is what I'm deciding. And that's it. Literally, that's it. Hey, I was hoping you had a plan for text coaching where you can pay in payments. Oh, I definitely did talk to you about that. Thank you for reminding me. I made the adjustments to the membership. I'll make the adjustments to this for you. And then I haven't used my Mindset Instagram in a while because I actually made my decision about Instagram a long time ago. I need to find another outlet to talk to you guys, like direct messaging. And I think it may have to be through email. So for both of you, Alicia and Natural Niece, I'm going to give you guys my email so that you guys can talk to me about what you guys want to do in terms of plans. It's because Instagram, I've made my decision. I think that I won't have my children on there. So I kind of just made my detachment from it for a little bit. Because me and my partner have decided that when we start the family, I don't want to post my child on there. So until they're of age. So yeah, I'll be on YouTube. I'll be on Pinterest. I actually use my Snapchat. But as of right now, that's what it is. But I'll put, like I said, I'll put the email for those of you who want to reach out to me to discuss. But naturally, Niece, I remember you talking to me about that. I'll email you. Oh, I manifested a fight and everything. I know I did remember. Alicia, girl, I'm just seeing the little pieces of your story and I'm like, I know. A lot of manifestation is accountability, y'all. It's not blame, but it's accountability. When I was treated a certain way in love, and I look back, I'm like, it's because I thought that way about myself. No matter what the 3D shows me, this computer be trying to play with me. It's all right. I'm going to manifest a new one. I lost it. So basically, no matter what the 3D shows me, keep telling myself he wants to be back with me and we're living together now. I thought this was charging. Not he wants to be back with you. Say it's already done. I hope this is charging. Hold on, guys. I'm hoping this is charging. Anywho's, yeah. So I noticed this like discrepancy with manifesting where it's like, do I say it's gonna happen or do I say it's mine now? And I like to tell people, say what you feel comfortable with, but just make sure that the mindset is aligned to it's done, like it's happening now, right? So if in your mind, getting you to that knowing place is saying he wants us to be together, we're going to be back together, fine. But make sure that it does not contradict, make sure that it doesn't contradict the storyline that you picked for yourself, okay? So like some people will be like, oh, I'm married. Oh, we're getting back together. But it's like, it's either you're married or we're getting back together. So if you're saying we're getting back together, cool, but just make sure it's That's the story. Stick with it. And don't worry about what the 3D is going to show you. I know some of you guys stress about that a little bit, but it's like, don't stress it. Think, sorry guys. I just want to make sure it's charging, but I don't know. So there's that. How to self-regulate when life is I missed you. I haven't been on Instagram to DM you. I definitely have to get your number. I'll figure it out. But how to self-regulate when life is on one. I know I'm the power, but sometimes I swear life is just crazy. It feels like I'm being tested. My power and faith is being strengthened, maybe. Love you, Nikki. Love you too, girl. First, stop thinking that life is out to get you. Stop thinking that life is testing you. So one of the things that I've learned about life is that life is ever changing. Like, let's think outside the scope of manifestation for a second. Life is always changing, okay? It's always going to be changing, no matter what. So, like, even when you see shows where time stop, where's a show that I saw? When you guys watched, if you guys ever watched Spider-Man, I know I'm always talking about Spider-Man Not Far From Home, and they came back after the blimp. Some people stayed the same age and some people grew older, like, meaning time is always changing. The seasons are always passing, right? So life is a cycle. And it doesn't mean that it's a cycle of some days you're going to be on top of the world and some days you'll be in the gutter. But you have to kind of place yourself in the world where life is ever changing, but I'm the constant. So you only feel that way is because you're looking at your outside world and the changes that's happening in your outside world and thinking it's happening to you. So you're literally seeing life do what it actually does in a cycle, because life is always in a cycle. And you're looking at this one particular thing and going, you're testing me. But life is like, bro, I'm just lifing. So you need to learn to go through life and going, no, I know exactly how to navigate this. Everything is going great. And even if your environment doesn't match your end goal, it doesn't make sense to be miserable in it. So in the beginning of the live, I talked about the transfer from my departments and how I wanted that. Even though the environment that I was in, I didn't like it, I didn't sit in it going, life is happening at me. I have to be in this department because these people hate specifically me. I still showed up with grace. I still laughed some days with some of them, even though I knew that I didn't want to be there anymore. I still navigated life like the woman that knows things work out for me. So yeah, things in your environment may not match the internal story yet, but it doesn't mean that you sit there and go, you are testing me and things must be crazy. You don't have to assign it that meaning. You can literally be like, well, that doesn't match, but I'm going to still keep being me, navigating this beautiful life. I think the best way I can look at it is look at it like abstract art. I know this sounds philosophical, guys, but this is a great way and a great perspective to look at your environment so that you're not affected by it. Look at it like Picasso, right? But look at it like moving puzzle pieces. Yes, you made a decision on a story, but your environment, your world doesn't mirror it yet. Instead of going, oh my God, no, constantly every day, look at it like, life is really, truly amazing. Because you know what? I always get what I want. And like, this is yuck. But you know what? I've always proven to myself that this shit works. And this shit mirrors back to me exactly how I want it. And it's really like art. And that's how I kind of detach from always reacting to things that's happening outside of me. Because life, guys, if you think about it, and one of my favorite things that my mom taught me is you're breathing. You have life. So it's like, as long as you have life, there's possibility, there's potential. So instead of being down and looking at how the cup fell over with the water, some of the water spilled out, you're thinking there's some water left in the cup. There's a potential for this shit to change. And when you can navigate life like that, manifestation is so easy because you're like, okay, yeah, my environment is trash, whatever, but this is how shit gonna pop off. When I moved out, I didn't enjoy living with my mom at the time and my parents. My dad is really calm, so when I talk about the things, it's because of my mom. Me and my mom are good now, by the way. But at the time we're living with my mom, it was so annoying. Imagine coming in from a long day and then your mom is on you about BS every day, in and out, in and out, in and out. That wasn't a fun environment. And I can only imagine, I'm not comparing it to abuse, but I'm just gonna imagine people who come home to an abusive home. It's like, I don't want this anymore. So I understand looking at it like this is trash. But if you can take your perspective out of that for a minute, out of that vortex for a minute and go, yeah, this is trash, but I'm gonna make it happen for myself. That's exactly how I moved. I just was like, yeah, she's annoying. But every time I turned that key, it was like, nope, this is my new apartment. I have the perfect living space. At that time, I lived with my sister. I have the perfect living space with my sister where we live harmoniously together. And me and my sister had our apartment. A lot of my videos that's on here, if you kind of scroll down, if you see kind of a doorway in the back and I had the white fuzzy chair, that was the apartment. And then me and my sister decided to live our respective places with our partners. I went from an environment that I didn't enjoy to one that I enjoyed, right? So yeah, your environment, your world is showing you something that you do not like, but it doesn't mean that you need to stay in it and dwell on it and do mathematical equations and breaking it down. You are allowed to have that as your environment. Take yourself out of it and be like, nah, this is working out for me. I have manifested SPs back 1,000 times, yet these people seem to always fall back. Internally, I think they won't stay because I've evolved and they won't. That is a belief. That is why it's happening. That in itself is a belief. You believe that you, in the time period that you are separated from them physically, that you leveled up and they haven't. So when they come back into your life, they show you exactly that. So if you want them to level up with you, okay. So when you hear people go, my SP came back and I don't want them anymore, it's because there is a self-concept there where they feel like the person didn't level up or they didn't work on themselves. So you're no longer attracted to them. However, you hear stories of people like, I got my SP back and I love them. That's because in that time period, they thought that the SP is going to match what they want to, who they want them to be. That is a belief thing. Jelly, this whole statement is a belief. If you want to keep that, that's fine. And then you can just decide whoever you meet now moving forward matches exactly what you want from now on. However, if you go back into manifesting an SP, make sure that in doing so, because it seems you know what to do, you say they worked on themselves or they became the best version of themselves. And that's also a belief I have about my partner when I manifested him back. I was like, I attract the best version of him because I'm not dealing with no bullshit. So that is a belief. You seem to already know what to do, so I don't need to go into it. So that's just a tweak that you can make if you want to. If you want a past SP back, just make sure when you are in the process of doing your routine, you have in there that you attract the best version that matches your self-concept that you like. Else they're going to keep showing up, yes, but you're going to be unattracted because they didn't grow in the time that you grew. Because working on your self-concept is actually personal growth. You really become this new version of you. You fall in love with that version of you. Just make sure you have that in mind with them. If you don't want to, just make sure now anybody you meet matches your self-concept. No, I don't want to be that. Okay, so this is for the person who had asked guys when they said they told the SP nasty things and they were thinking about it. They were saying they don't want to be that kind of person. They want the kind of respectful relationship. So yes, like I said, if you are somebody who is verbally like you get kind of crazy, yeah, your person can still love you. But if you don't want to be that kind of person in a relationship, just make sure that you have that I'm respectful, they're respectful. I got out of those petty ways in my younger 20s when I realized I don't want to act that way. I don't want to get crazy. I don't want to bash windows. I don't want to slash tires. I don't want to put sugar in tanks. Don't ask me how I know about all of those things. I don't want to be that kind of woman. I want to be a classy, graceful, sexy, alluring woman that naturally draws that energy out of a man. I want him to feel inspired to grow, inspired to cater to me. I want to be that person. So I let go of that behavior, and that's what I have. Please, if you use I am affirmations, our mind will consider for ourselves, or our mind will. I don't rephrase that question. Agar, I'm assuming you're having a great day. Agar, let me tell you something. I'm having a phenomenal day. Okay? I've been having consistent phenomenal days because I friggin' deserve it. But yes, I'm having a great day. I only talked about crab legs earlier because I think that's what I'm gonna have today. So for those of you who don't know, my updated routine for myself is I have a lot of homework because I'm in school. But I don't just suck myself into homework and do nothing else. I treat myself to a solo dinner every other week. And this is the week that I take myself to a solo dinner. And it can be anything. It doesn't have to be a formal dinner. It can be lunch by myself. I'm not afraid to do anything by myself. I'm so in love with who I am that I feel like the world needs to see me sitting by myself. That, Lex, is one of my inner conversations. Thanks for mirroring that. Wow. That really made me a little emotional. Yeah, I say that to myself. I say that I'm going to make a lot of people come on YouTube to make videos because they see the profit in it. And yes, YouTube is profitable, but I've heard some recent conversations about not just women, but just how people are being treated. And I'm like, more people need this information. So my videos are to reach people who need help. Because you should not be treated like that. Whether it's from an SP, whether it's from a boss, whether it's from family. I want people to be the best version of themselves. And that's why I make videos. I said I'm going to teach people. But yeah, back to my routine. I take myself on a solo date. And what I do on the solo date is, yes, I eat. Because that's the point. Eat food. Yum, 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 yum. But I actually sit with myself. I put down my phone. If people are messaging me, I will answer. But I put down my phone. And I actually enjoy being present. I look around. I sometimes people watch. I eat good food. And that's how I end up talking to people, meeting people, people knowing about my YouTube. I'm getting to know people because I kind of put myself in a situation like, I'm amazing, so why wouldn't I go out there? But it also helps me build confidence. There's a few spots that I go to frequently. So I know the staff. Then you sometimes, if I sit at the bar, I don't always sit at the bar. But if I sit at the bar, you end up meeting someone else and talking to them and getting to know people. You'll be surprised about people's journeys. Somebody might have a conversation with me and it inspires me. I've met people who I still know now. That's why I always say, like, all you need to do is choose an identity and go live your life because you'll be in the right place at the right time. Just choose that and stop living in fear. It's not just even about being inside because I am an ambivert. I'm both introverted and extroverted, mostly introverted. So going out there is, tapping in a part of my identity that's like confident, but I just sit and I just look and I just talk. Sometimes I affirm, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I scroll, sometimes I don't. But that moment to myself is just like, this is who I am. Silence, no outside noise. Some of you guys should do it. Sometimes it's not food, by the way, guys. Sometimes I sit and I'm coloring. I'll go to a park and I sit. So, yeah. Okay, this is gonna be the last few because I'm gonna go for some crab legs. That's what I'm trying to do today, not be miserable. I've been miserable for 3 months. I'm tired now. And that's what emotions will do to you, girl. Drain you. If you hold on to them. My relationship wasn't going on as I wish a year ago. I manifested that he has changed and came back to me as I wish. After a short time, he left me. Since then, he has hot and cold. I know this is a phase, but I cannot cope with the situation. So I'm going to probably end with that. Hold on. Your turn off my stories are attached to them. Okay. Jelly, pick. I'm only telling you this because I can tell you know what you're doing. You need to decide. It's either you want them back and they're the version that you want, because then you're wasting your own time manifesting them back and then getting turned off by the stories you created of them. Decide that either you move forward and everybody you meet is what you want and you get to decide if you want to be with them or they keep coming back. You have to pick one because you know how to do this because you said they keep coming back, so that means you know. Pick a story. Wish shop, I didn't forget about you. I'm going to end with your question because my phone is about to die. L'entrée, how do you stop feeling so nervous during the unfolding? I'm not anticipating anything bad, just uncomfortable. Why are you afraid of uncomfortable? Ask yourself that. What's wrong with uncomfortable? Are you afraid of uncomfortable because how society told you how uncomfortable is bad? Why is uncomfortable bad? Or why is uncomfortable something to pay attention to? There's so many definitions to uncomfortable. I'm going to change your everything is perception, guys. Uncomfortable is literally just a feeling because it's something new or unknown, not necessarily bad. So sometimes people feel uncomfortable. Yes, there's situations where uncomfortable is bad, but there's other definitions of uncomfortable. You can be uncomfortable because something is weird or bad. You can be uncomfortable because what you're doing is new, not normalized, or you can be uncomfortable because you don't know. You need to redefine what uncomfortable means to you during the unfolding process. You need to normalize that, hey, I don't need to be uncomfortable because everything always works out for me. I'm in the unfolding and this shit is lit. Or whenever you feel it arise a lot, you can just be like, well, I'm normalizing something new. So of course this feeling is going to wash over me. So example, you didn't know how to drive and you begin to drive. What do you feel? Weird, because you've never been behind the wheel of a car. It doesn't mean that driving is bad. It just means you've never been behind the wheel of a car. But what happens after you start to learn how to practice and drive? Getting behind the car is what? Comfortable. So you are saying uncomfortable is not bad. I know you said that, but it's like label uncomfortable is like, I'm only feeling this way because something new, something different is happening for me. But I don't need to dwell and think that nothing is going to happen or something bad is going to happen. It's just new. Remember that, guys. Remember, you give meaning to everything. And that's why when some of you guys just stick with one definition of things, I'm like, you know, when you research life and do research and all of those things, there's multiple definitions of uncomfortable. You don't have to feel bad. You don't have to feel weird. You don't have to sit there waiting. Get up and go do something. Get up and go wash your hair. Get up and go watch your show. And be like, I got this. Actually, why am I sitting here trying to evaluate what I got this? Okay. Now, Wish Up, I'm going to answer your question last. And then I'm going to go because I think my phone is going to die. My relationship wasn't going as I wish a year ago. I've manifested that he has changed and came back to me as I wish, which you successfully did. After a short time, he left me. Then he is hot and cold. That sentence right there, after a short time, he left me, right there, Wish Up. Right there is where you thought something was happening. So he was acting weird a year ago. He came back. Y'all were good. After a short time, he left and was hot and cold. After a short time, whatever led up to after a short time, be accountable. You thought something. You accepted something as your truth, whether you thought it was too good to be true, whether you started looking around. Somebody asked about checking. What happens if you're addicted to checking? Actually, I'll answer that question last. I've just randomly remembered that, guys. Genius brain of mine. Anywho's, after that short time, you dwelled on something, thinking something is going on. You guys have to remember something. It's gonna be too good to be true if you decide it. It's going to be amazing and stay amazing if you decide it. There was one person that I had who's actually my friend too, but she also was into my content. She was like, I say, the honeymoon phase lasts forever with me. Because what does the society tells you about the honeymoon phase? That it's only the beginning of the relationship, and then after that, all hell breaks loose. But I had that friend go, nope, the honeymoon phase lasts forever with me. Whatever your concept of that relationship is, it's going to mirror back to you. You thought, nope, they're going to come back exactly like this. They did. Then you started thinking, oh no, I don't know. Something is weird. Something is off. They did this. Maybe they would have did one thing, and you started to make this whole story around the one thing, and then they showed it. And now you're like, now they're hot and cold. They text me yesterday. They text me now. The only thing that's changing this story is you. So Wish Up, pause for a moment and go back to when you manifested them and they came in. What's the one thing you did? You stuck to the story that they were going to come back the way you wanted to. Do that. Stop overcomplicating things. Don't try to, did I do something wrong? Stop. Whatever you did, just go back to that. And be like, no, they love me and this is what they want. And stick with that. That's as simple as it is, guys. And for the last person who asked about checking. Checking is directly correlated to you not trusting yourself and seeking external validation. Now, let me talk to the people first who like, but I checked and I still got what I wanted. You checked and you still got what you wanted because you decided, I don't care what I see, I get what I want. I won't forget. I'm going to pin it. It's for the people who check. That's for the email comment. Sorry, guys. So for the email, just go back to the video. I'm going to pin it in a comment. I'm only going to keep it up for like to the end of the day. So make sure you get it. Okay. Anywho's. Back to what I was saying. So the people who check and say, but I still got what I wanted. It's because they checked and was like, I don't care what I see. This is still what I'm going to get. Some people are not there. Some people go check and go, oh my God, is that true? I'm talking to those people, not that people who check and whatever. Checking is a correlation to not trusting yourself. Checking and accepting it as truth. So that's like me saying, I know that I'm the most beautiful girl in the world, and I know that he loves me or she loves me. And I go scroll on Instagram and see that they like somebody else's picture and go, does that mean that they love that person more than me? Is that picture better? Do I need to start posing like that? Do I need to wear my hair like that? Do I need, whatever thoughts come up after that. Same thing with money. I get the most money in the world, and then all of a sudden I get a ticket in the mail for driving. And it's like, does that mean I don't get the most money? I just got a bill after saying that I get the most money. So what I said is not true. Let me go check to see if, stop. Pause. Rewind and think about before you came into conscious manifesting. When you guys were living without knowing about this content, when you guys were living without knowing about what it means to loop affirmations, what it meant to meditate on an affirmation or a visual, all of us were living on a sort of autopilot. And we were not checking for the things we were saying. And some of us were living on a worse autopilot than some of the others, where you would just make an exclamation like, oh my God, I'm so fucking stupid. And you didn't check to see if you were stupid. You just accepted it as your truth. Or some of you were like, I get the worst relationships in the world. You weren't checking to see if you got the worst relationships in the world. You just claimed it, and then you experienced it. The same thing happens now. And I think it's because there's so much information out there that you think that you have to watch all these videos. You don't have to do anything besides decide. So when you go out there and you're saying, I'm the most loved person in the world and I have the best relationships, you don't have to check. What are you checking for? You didn't check before when you didn't know about any of this stuff. And it's like, all right, I'll reason with you. So now you're going to go check. What exactly are you looking for? You don't trust your own word? You don't believe in your own truth? You don't believe that what you're saying about yourself is true? Who else do you want to prove it to you besides you? And that's how I go about checking. And I don't even have the urge to check anymore, because also I'm not on a lot of socials, and I also practice living in the present, but I understand that certain people love socials, so I understand the itch. It's like you're saying this person is interested in me, and you're going to go check, let me see what they did today. And it actually should be, this person is interested in me, and let me go focus on myself because I can see why they're interested in me. Do you see the difference in the two? One is like, let me go validate the statement because I'm actually unsure. Let me see. And the other statement is, actually, no. I know that they like me in this way. So I'm okay with that. And let me go focus on myself because I like myself in that way. And I enjoy myself in that way. And I know that they're going to be finding me. So I'm going to give an example. So I really love reading books. You guys see it. I've always been a book person. I used to get in trouble when I was younger for cutting school to go to the library. What kid you know cut school to go to the library? Usually cutting school to do ungodly things. But I would cut school to go to the library. So I love reading. So when I, and with my partner, one of the beliefs I have about myself is I don't got to do too much. I know this person loves me no matter what, right? Now, when I'm of course in a place now that I don't need to, but for the sake of the convo. In the beginning of saying that, I didn't go, he loves me, and then go check. I actually would be like, I know he loves me, and I would be reading a book. And then all of a sudden, he's like, what are you reading? What are you doing? What's your book about? Is the book a juicy book? Is it one of those spicy books? They came and tried to find me in what I was doing. Instead of me going, they love me, let me go see what they're doing to see so they can prove it to me. I allowed it to unfold. Some of you guys are like, okay. I got into my dream school. Let me check every single website, every single time. This is, Miles, that's what I'm answering now. I'm talking about checking. I was never addicted to checking it. You're going to have to watch it over to see the answer to the question. I was never addicted to checking. That's why I'm teaching you guys about it.